2, drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Stay.
Now you're more fluent.
Mackinac, he's got 3!
Bears. So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your daily Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. We want to thank you for making us the first listen of your day. This is your boy Kev, a.k.a. YBK, Kevin Frazier. And look who's back. The boys are back. 300-pound Manimal back in the house. So glad to have you back on the show because it's fun doing it solo, but it definitely is not anywhere near as fun as hanging out and shooting baseball talk back and forth. So glad to have you back. Heck, man, you know what? You can run since you're back. Why don't you take the whole thing today? Give them.
Oh, look at this! Yes. Thank you for all the responsibility. Thank you for throwing all that responsibility on me. It's great to be back. Yesterday, whenever Kevin was doing the show, I was on an airplane coming back from Philadelphia. I know all the Cowboy fans love the people in Philadelphia. Yes. Apparently, the feeling is mutual because I was told that if I was a Cowboys fan that I need not show up to certain things. So luckily for me, I am not a Cowboys fan. They can work with the Buffalo Bills. They're not threatened by Josh Allen and the boys like they are Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. So so they're not as worried about that. So I passed the being from Dallas but not being a Cowboys test with them. But anyways, yeah. So I was on my way back. Kevin managed the show again last night. Killed it as always. There's no way that I could do what he does on a single show. You know, when I do it, we're in and out in like 15 minutes. We're getting every update that we could possibly get in and getting right out the door. Kevin's like, I got some topics. We're going to talk about them. I don't care. I'm doing it, and I love it. I couldn't do that. But anyways, let's get this show started. Check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTB. Check us out on Spotify or iTunes podcast, whatever your favorite platform of that is on the podcast platforms. Check us out on our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
That's all one word.
That's right. That's just one word. You can check Kevin out on the social medias at Kevin Lee Frazier. You can check me out on the social medias at Manimal Bull on Twitter, Instagram, Manimal300, and both Facebook and TikTok at Bull Pro. So whatever your favorite platform of the social medias are, get at me and Kevin, and we'll start talking about Rangers baseball. If you don't see Kevin on there for a couple of days, don't worry about it. He'll be back. And if you really got to get at him, get on that fantasy baseball page, because I know Kevin can't keep himself away from that for any more than like about 15 minutes. So you got to get on that if you want to, right now. But before we get started, we got to remind everybody about the Sports Fluent Network.
Yeah.
Sports Fluent Network. That's our co-siderary. They make sure that we're on YouTube every morning, and you can check us out on the Sports Fluent page. But the best way to do it is just go up to that search bar and type in Texas Rangers with the Boys, and you'll find I think there's like about 97 or 98 shows up there now, and you can watch all of them. Watch them all. You know what? Hey, just like turn them on YouTube and then like walk away for a couple of days. And then we'll have the views. You'll have the knowledge whenever you're sitting around, and we're all happy. Don't forget to check out Friday, October 18th at Martin House Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Matt War Pro is back for their 2-year anniversary show. The show is called 2YA, which I guess is a fancy way of saying 2-year anniversary. So come on out. It's going to be a big time. They've got that dog collar main event that we've been talking about. It's just a couple of months away now. Actually, just a little less than a month and a half away now. So get ready for a big time show out at Martin House Brewing on Friday, October 18th for the 2-year anniversary show. They're going to have food on site, all those Martin House brews on tap because we're going to be at the brewery, and our friends from Starry Ice Cream, she'll be there, have all the great ice cream treats. So come on out for a big time on the east side of Fort Worth at Martin House Brewing on Friday, October 18th.
Yeah, that's like right down the street from us. Like, because we're almost East Fort Worth. Like, we're like literally like right on. Like we're less than a mile away from the sign that says "Welcome to Arlington."
Yeah, and I mean, I live on 121, so I mean, just jump on the highway from my house. It's about 10 miles. It ain't too bad at all.
Yeah. Now I did announce that what was it? Kelly's Onion Burgers might be there. But I didn't. I'm
not 100% sure. I haven't gotten a run sheet from Jason on who actually is going to be
I know
there.
there's always a food truck out there at Martin House, sitting out there with the food. So that's what I did. Assure them there will be a food truck out there with something to eat.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're hungry, definitely there will be some food there for you. If you're thirsty, there will definitely be beers on site. And if you've got a sweet tooth, the Starry's Ice Cream lady.
And you don't have to wait.
Ice cream.
You don't have to wait for Matt Ward Pro for Starry's Ice Cream, do you?
No. You can just go over to the Panther
City Music, is it?
Panther City Records Store.
Panther City.
That's what it is. Yeah. And they'll get you some ice cream over there. So yeah, it can be done. She's got a website. Just check it out, and I think it's starrysicecream.com. I mean, it's real easy. Google it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't sleep on that, especially this time of year. Well, man, let's get into some Rangers. Rangers win 3 of 4. Are you out of breath from doing the?
I made it, but it's not. I try to downplay it. Try to make it sound like it isn't anything.
Okay, Rangers win 3 out of 4. That's not bad. Rangers win 3 out of 4. Now we just got to win another 20 out of 30. And
yeah, I mean,
we're on the right path.
Right path for sure. I mean, if they win 3 out of their next 4 the rest of the way, they might be right back in it. Sitting 10.5 back. Astros beat up on the Orioles tonight, last night. So it ain't getting any easier. They've got a handful with the Astros or the Orioles this weekend while the Rangers are playing the Guardians. So it ain't gonna be easy for the Rangers either. The Guardians are a pretty good baseball team, and wouldn't
just
be
like
shocked.
Minnesota. To me, they're just like Minnesota. They don't have anything great, but they know how to win baseball games. They play great ball too, man. It's like a fun game watching teams like that play because they just do everything good. It seems like they just do it all. And also too very competitive lineups in terms of pitchers. They have very competitive at bats when they're up to the plate. So a lot of nobody
explains why those two teams are just a couple of games apart in the standings, and that AL Central race is really heating up the most of any of the.
Who'd have expected that?
Well, yeah, I think maybe if we did expect it, we didn't expect it to be
this good.
Yeah. They got 3 teams right now sitting with 70+ wins, and
Yeah. I think we expected all the teams to be hanging around 500 and that there would be a division battle. Somebody's going to win the division. I didn't foresee them all being like
right in the thick of the wild card hunt too.
Right at the top of the league in winning percentage. All these teams are right up there with Baltimore and Los Angeles and Milwaukee. All the top teams in the game right now are all kind of close to each other as well. The division race for the American League West caused a casualty in Seattle. We don't normally talk too much about other teams anymore, but it's in the West and it affects the Rangers. So manager casualty out in Seattle.
Yeah, Scott Service gets the axe today. He's going to be replaced by, I guess, Seattle kind of legend Dan Wilson. Great catcher for a lot of years for the Mariners up there. Great player for a lot of years. We talked about him a little bit pre-show, and a really good player. They love those former catchers when it comes to managers, and Voigt's been doing a really good job with the Guardians, and it's a very capable. I think Dan Wilson will be very capable up there. I don't know if he's gonna be the difference maker in them getting themselves back into things this year or not. We'll have to just monitor it and see. But the Mariners had fallen 4, 5.5, something like that back, and Mariners felt like they needed to make a change, and unfortunately for Scott Service, he was the change that they felt needed to be made. And he's had a really good run there in Seattle and got a lot of years there, and
Well, Seattle worst team besides the White Sox in the third quarter of the season. I mean, that's enough, right? I mean, that's it.
And you're talking about a team that
1-8 of their last 9. So
they were sitting 10 games up at one point,
yes,
and then the American League West, and not only have the Astros came back to get them, but the Astros have come back and put some distance in between them and the Mariners. And really, let's be honest with the Mariners, there's really no excuses. They get a start every 5th day or every day out of a guy like either Luis Castillo or Logan Gilbert or the Miller kid. It's hard to Bryce Miller, I think, right, is his name. But it's hard to feel bad for the Mariners whenever they've got what they've got and their rotation and not winning games. I mean, it's the same thing we say about the Rangers. It's hard to feel bad for the Rangers when they've got what they've got in their lineup and they're not scoring any runs. So, equal but separate entities, but at the same time, very much the same.
Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I didn't give anybody like a teaser for what we're going to talk about today, but if you are anywhere in Rangerdom at all whatsoever, you absolutely.
There's only one story today, right?
There's one story, and we're about to talk about it. Jacob deGrom looks pretty good in those Rough Rider uniforms. I don't think it's going to last, but he looks pretty snazzy in that maroon out there.
I think they're just going to keep him around for the Texas League playoffs. They're just like, sorry, Boach, we need him down here.
I'm playing some
but getting that rehab start, getting that first one out of the way, making sure that everything is good. He got up and down a couple of times, and I thought overall the stuff was very DeGrom-like. He was sitting between 98 and 100 most of the game. Gave up a hit or a couple of hits right there back to back. Then when he saw an out happen, it kind of turned a new gear on for him, and struck out the next 3 batters before getting a couple of ground balls to complete his night at 28 pitches. So we'll probably see another one here in 5 days. I'd say probably next Tuesday they'll want to keep him on schedule to throw again, and it'll probably be down in Round Rock. With them being at home and Frisco being up in northwest Arkansas, wherever they play those games at, or Fayetteville or one of those towns up there. What's that one that the Walmart people are from?
Bentonville.
Yeah.
Bentonville.
Yeah, Bentonville. Yeah. Spent a lot of time up there wrestling in the past for sure.
We did. We used to go to Bentonville on a regular basis. All right. Well.
Tiger Tretch.
Well, yeah. All right. So Jacob deGrom, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. I got distracted by Osuna's stats, and that's what the pause was there. I was like, dang, man. But deGrom with 3 Ks over those 2 innings. Now, how many pitches did we have from deGrom here?
28.
29 pitches. 29. Yeah, 21 strikes. No other real. Let's see. Ground outs to flyouts. He had 2 ground outs, no flyouts. The other outs were obviously strikeouts. So there's your line from Jacob deGrom. The most important thing is he got through it. No mound visits. No
trainer visits. Yeah.
No stops from anybody, and he gets through the game. And good news there. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's like a long time coming to get Jacob deGrom be out moving. I mean, it was funny because we were like, maybe before the All-Star break, most likely post All-Star break, and here we are, like fourth quarter.
September 1st, yeah, I mean at the earliest.
Yeah.
No, and that's normally how it is, right? With Tommy John, you want it to be a certain time and you want a timetable to be what it is, but it never is. It's never going to be that timetable that you want it to be, and it's not going to be, exactly the way, we would have loved to have had Molly back at the All-Star break and DeGrom right after it, and you're feeling a little bit better about things, but you kind of knew that it was going to be, late August before DeGrom was back and probably middle of August on Molly, and that's what you got. I mean, but, there's always high expectations or hopeful expectations or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, you got to be safe with these guys. And then when the Rangers are kind of in a spot that they're in, you might as well be even more safe with them and go from there, because you're going to need them next year, and you want to have them have a nice return to where they feel confident about going into spring training next year, especially with their with themselves back to a 100-pitch clip and getting back into a spot where when they come in next year in February, things are going to be ready and everything's going to be great.
Yeah, and I guess you told me that what is it? Scherzer goes to tonight.
Yeah, Scherzer tonight at Frisco. So a big week for Frisco. You got Rocker, DeGrom, and Scherzer all on a back-to-back. So
when does
big
Rocker
night for Frisco. Huh?
When does Rocker pitch?
Rocker pitched last night on Wednesday.
Oh, he did? I
mean, 2 nights ago on Wednesday. Yeah, he threw 4 2/3. Another just brilliant performance from Rocker, throwing 100 miles an hour and getting, starting to get praise from all over the air, all over the media.
Number 2 prospect in the Rangers organization as far as the MLB.com is concerned.
And rightfully so right now. And I think, it's not going to be long now. If it isn't by the end of the year this year, it'll be by the beginning of next year, because, I mean, there's just too much to look at right now in Love and the Rangers. I mean, if they're going to be, willing to lose all the service time on Wyatt Langford and play him, I can't imagine any reason why they wouldn't be willing to do the same thing with Rocker next year. And I mean, when it comes down to it, wouldn't be shocked if both Rocker and Leiter were in the rotation next year to start the season. But I also then again wouldn't be shocked if they weren't.
Yeah, I think you kind of nice segue there, because I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about this. I kind of toyed with the idea last night on the show, but it's not as much fun without kind of bouncing the ideas around. And this would be something we just talk about off air, so we might as well talk about it on air. Would just be like the rotation next year. I'm gonna kick out what we got coming back, because we know Heaney's out, we know Evaldi's out, we know that we already know Lorenzen's gone, and then who else? John Gray will be out. So a lot of 1-year contract starters are going to be gone next year. So doesn't mean we don't want to bring any of them back. That's a side piece here. We'll probably talk about that in a second. But first, let's talk about what we got coming back and the prospects of what it could look like. So DeGrom's coming back. Molly's coming back. You're going to have Dunning. You're going to have Bradford. So those are 4 guys that have started games for you on a regular basis that have been successful. In obviously, a couple of them been real successful. But Bradford probably been one of the best they've had all year. And then Dunning has had stints where he's been good. And then now you're talking Teodo, Leiter, and Rocker, all 3 guys that are definitely going to be on the 40-man. I don't see why they wouldn't be on the 40-man roster next year.
Now Rocker probably won't be on the 40-man unless he's on the 26-man. Yeah. There's no reason to put him on the 40-man if he's not on the 26-man. Yep. Now that doesn't mean that he can't make the team out of spring next year or even be put on the 26-man at some point this season.
Right.
None of those things are out of the question. Nope. So, but I would say that, John Gray and Andrew Heaney. If Andrew Heaney's back, it's on a club-friendly 1-year after having a fairly good season, but a handful of starts at the beginning of the season to kind of, never get himself into the spot where he had the season that he wanted to have. So you might be able to see Andrew Heaney come back here on a 1-year deal or something like that for some depth at a relatively good price. So I wouldn't be shocked if that were the case. I think Eovaldi has a player option on next year, so I wouldn't expect him to sign in on a player option, especially with him having a couple of pretty good seasons here in Texas and being a World Series MVP or MVP caliber player for the Rangers during the World Series last year and the whole playoffs in general. And it just fits with the mold of who Nathan Eovaldi's been his entire career.
Too.
So if you're
He's been healthy all year too. Like this year, he's been since the World Series up through now. He's stayed healthy the whole time.
Yeah, I think he had one, and the injury that he did have was a groin injury. So nothing to really say that no arm injuries or no arm issues at all this year. He did have the one minor issue last year that he missed about 2 months or so at the end of the season. But overall, yeah, Eovaldi stayed healthy. He's looking to go into a contract year and get what he basically, is going to be probably his last good one.
Yep. So Rangers could bring any of those guys back if they wanted.
Yeah, and no reason to say that the Rangers won't bring Eovaldi back too because of what he's meant to this team. But I don't think they probably will. There'll be a team like the Dodgers or the Yankees or someone like that that are
or the Red Sox who love him.
The Red Sox love him. And and every team that's ever had him is a guy that's played on a ton of teams, right? But always been good in the clubhouse. Everyone talks so highly of him. So it won't be a problem him finding another job and finding where he needs to be. So that probably leaves you with, as of right now, you're looking at Molly, DeGrom, Dunning, and Bradford. I would say 3 of those 4 guys are definitely in the rotation next year going into the season. I imagine Dunning will get another opportunity, but I'm not counting it out that the Rangers will shop a little bit this year on the free agent market, pitching wise. Now, I am of the belief that the Rangers should go out there and solidify that offense for the next 10 years with Juan Soto, but not everyone is going to agree with me on that case. But you still got to spend on pitching, even if you do go out and get Juan Soto. So that's kind of more wishful thinking on my part. Obviously, a guy that you're going to be able to control through his best portion of his career is not going to come at a cheap price, and there's going to be a lot of suitors for Juan Soto this offseason. But, man, think about that lineup with him in it and those guys hitting. But we'll see, so foreseeably, you could see Rocker, you could see Leiter, you could see maybe even Teodo in the rotation at some point next year. I believe that probably Leiter has the best opportunity to make it out of camp with his experience at AAA, but there's no reason to believe that the stuff that Kumar Rocker has won't keep him and will keep him out of the big leagues. It was unbelievable watching him. Watching him throw since he's been back, and I imagine that yesterday or Wednesday night was his last start with AA Frisco, but you never know. We'll see. But yeah,
I'm just looking at his box score, shaking my head like
this is amazing every time out, and Leiter's been equally as good. He had a nice 5 2/3 the other night on Wednesday night, and it seems like every night that those two pitch on the same night, it's almost who can one up the other and have the better outing. And that's really all we've ever wanted from Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker is just to check box scores every night and see those two dudes dominate. And that's all we've really wanted since they were picked 2nd and 3rd overall, respectively, in the draft. And I knew when people were like, "Oh, what did they do taking Rocker there at 3?" I knew it was worth it. I knew it was a smart move. But How smart, you never know. You get a Tommy John, you're starting to second guess that. But we saw glimpses of it last year in Hickory when he was just dominating high A right off the bat, and then having the surgery, and then coming back and being just as dominant at the Texas League. I mean, Rocker, I feel like he's as real as it gets whenever it comes to pitching prospects in the big leagues, and I would even rate him Paul Skeens good.
Yeah, he's in the same category. Now I'll say my big thing with the Rangers, and this is just kind of piggybacking off of all this, is that here's kind of my reasoning for wanting to put some insurance behind all of this, because number one, we learned our lesson this year about not insuring young players, number one. And number two, you've got Molly and DeGrom both coming off of Tommy John surgery. You did talk about Teodo. He just recently Tommy John. Kumar Rocker just recently had Tommy John. Now, and then also you're talking about Bradford coming off of his best season ever. Like he's in had some injury as well. And then Dane Dunning, we're not really sure, like with Dunning, I mean, he has been hurt a little bit too, but it's also just we're unsure if he's big league starter material. So again, there's just a lot of questions here. So there's a lot of upside, but I also think the Rangers need to make sure that they have a couple, I would say two. You can't go wrong with having a couple of insurance short-term deal starter guys. I love the Lorenzen type deal. That deal, I love that. I love that deal. So something like that I think would be great to bring in a couple of arms as well that are not.
And don't forget, there'll be like some Cy Young caliber names out there too. I wouldn't be shocked now if Blake Snell is back out on the market now after this resurgence here in the second half. Corbin Burns is a free agent. So, there's definitely some guys out there. There's definitely some things that are going to happen. So, free agency is going to be wild this winter, and I certainly am looking forward to it, and especially with kind of the disappointment of what the Rangers season has been this year. You got to start thinking about what the future is going to be like, and there's a lot of good players that are coming back to this thing now. We just got to figure out how to put them in the right spot, and maybe figure out if there's a TV deal in place that we can start really getting excited about what the future could bring. Or if Ray Davis is going to do us like he did us all 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, like just leave him to die and let John Daniels try and make, chicken salad out of chicken, the rest.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's we're going to move along. This is the kind of stuff I love, is just talking ball, and I feel like if we just kept rolling, we'd be so knee deep in the weeds. Somehow we'd be talking about John Daniels' mom, or anyway.
What?
Anyways, hey, we talked Rocker, we talked Leiter, we talked Teodo. You know what? We're going to probably be talking all of the top 10 prospects in the Rangers organization this weekend. We unveil the top 10 prospects in the Texas Rangers organization. We have the luxury of everybody else throwing theirs out there already. Well, we've been going week over week we already have had ours, but week over week, we've been doing we've been doing 10 prospects at a time for the last 3 weeks. Now it's time to unveil the top 10 prospects that in the Texas Rangers organization as the boys see it. And we're also going to talk about 10 prospects that could have made, should have, could have, probably will at some point make the top 40 prospect list that we have. We'll talk about them as well. Also, if you have your top 5, your top 10, and you want to send that in to us, we will definitely talk about that on the show. And who knows what else? We're just going to hit record, and we got the lists, and we're going to talk baseball. We're going to talk minor league ball, where it's going to kind of be an extravaganza, so to speak. And that's going to be our exclusive content. I haven't even told you what it is. It's called Down on the Farm with the Boys, where we cover all things Rangers minor league. If you can't hear the excitement in my voice, it's because my kid is over there, and I don't want to get too pumped up because he'll get really excited. He needs to go to bed in a minute. but I am so pumped. My co-host is pumped. It's going to be fun. We've been waiting on this for like months. We're like, let's get the draft and let's do this. So it's going to be fun. There's going to be some of those draft picks in that top 10 as well. So go to our website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
Oh, one word.
Or you can check us out on Spotify. Just $1.99 a month to make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers organization-wide. I promise it's going to be great. It's going to be a blowout. If you haven't subscribed, now is the time, because you can go subscribe now, right? You got it for the month. You can go check out the whole top 40, and you'll get that. You'll check out our top 10, and then we'll be right back with the following week. We'll be doing minor league awards and season players of the year, player of of each level.
We'll probably have Texas League playoffs to talk about, and because Frisco will definitely be there.
Yeah, yep. So it's going to be fun, and we're having a blast with it. The good part is if the Rangers are struggling, there's always some good prospects down on the farm to get excited about. So go check it out. Well, we don't have a game. I guess we got some previews. My question was to you. We talked a little Molly. We talked about the series last night. We got to I wrapped the series with Pittsburgh, but did you have any tidbits about Molly you wanted to throw out there? Anything you wanted to add about this Pittsburgh series that you didn't get to bring to the table because over the last episode?
I thought a lot of good work from the pitching staff in that Pittsburgh series. I thought Heaney was a damn dog on Wednesday afternoon. Fought as well. I mean, that was about as valiant effort as I've seen from a Rangers starter this season that Heaney put out there on short rest and whatever else the case may be for Heaney on Wednesday afternoon. And I thought the bullpen did a really good job behind him, working through things, and good job by the Rangers to get that walk off there and get a W off of a good pitcher in Bednar, and so get out of there with the series win. I also thought the night that they lost, I thought Bradford was everything that you could have ever asked for from. He may have taken a loss, but he got you a quality start plus. But he gave you one of them 1980s quality starts where you had to go 7 innings and give up less than 3. So, the pitching was really good in that Pittsburgh series. The bats weren't very good at all. But, I mean, how many times have we said that this year? Molly, hopefully it's something small and that he'll be back and throwing before the end of the season. That'll lead us right into I guess John Gray will take his spot in the rotation on Saturday. And then the Rangers, they head to Cleveland, where it's not going to be an easy task. The Guardians.
Hey, real quick before you jump in, did you hear? I don't know if you listen to the show or not. Rangers were scoreless for 24 straight innings.
No, I mean, I guess I knew that, like, hindsight, looking at the box and all of that stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it gets ugly quick in that thing. And it's not like the worst part about it is it's not like they're, like, scoreless and they're, like, going up there and like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like, it's, like, scoreless and they've got runners on second and third and 1 out and can't get anybody in. And it's like pathetic scoreless, like on top of it being like bad in general. It's like pathetic on top of it.
And the only extra base hits they had were the 2 Seager homers and that Simeon double that first game. And that was in like early part of the game.
Yeah. Because Seager hit that second home run in the 3rd inning and
no extra base hits at all. The whole.
If you can go 24 innings or whatever without scoring a run and take 2 out of 3,
and then they had I want to say it was like 5 or 6. I don't remember how many hits it was on that 1-0, but they had 10 base runners, so it was 7 hits and 3 walks. I think it was. So they had 10 base runners, no extra base hits, and they end up with one run. Wyatt Langford did the old muscle single there.
Yeah.
That thing to up the middle.
Yeah, we're talking about 3 out of 4 wins, but they got the Josh Young walk off there from Sunday, and they got the muscle cat Wyatt Langford single on Wednesday. But you know what? 3 out of 4 is 3 out of 4, and you can't complain about it too much. And you know,
all right,
maybe
let's
capitalize on a little bit going into the weekend in Cleveland. But this is a good Guardians team, and they're going to see Bybee there on Friday night. He's going to be opposed by Nathan Eovaldi, and then Saturday you've got that's a 6:05 or 5:40 start, something ridiculous, and then you've got a 7:10 or I guess a 6:10 here game on Saturday. John Gray will get the start for the Rangers, and then is it Blake Lively? Is that his name? What's that?
I think it's Ben. Blake Lively, I think, is the actress.
Ben Lively. Oh, yeah, the one that's married to Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, almost the same guy.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then they'll wrap that thing up on Sunday with the Rangers will send the Heen Dog back to the hill, right?
Bradford.
No, I'm sorry. Cody Bradford will go to the hill for the Rangers. He's 4-1 with a 3.56 ERA, which is pretty decent. And Cleveland's going to send Matthew Boyd, who pretty big prospect back in the day. He never really panned out, but he's been okay for Cleveland this year in the limited bit that they've given him. And we'll see if the Rangers can get to him. That's a 12:40. And for everybody that's not in the Rangers market here, that's on MLB Network as their game of the day on Sunday afternoon. So Guardians and Rangers this weekend. You just got to go out there and play good ball and, come up with some timely hits and maybe have an extra base hit somewhere. Not rely on Corey Seager to carry the whole offense for a whole series. Those are some of the hottest ones I have right now. But you know what? Bottom line, still about 50 games left in the season. And, I'm just here to watch baseball.
Oh, yeah, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch every game no matter what. I got my hot take. Let's see. We got 60, and 70, so 130. Yeah, man, we still got some games left. Okay, here's my hot take. My hot take is natural regression with a record-breaking, hanging with the 27 Yankees team from 2023. Natural regression happens, right? But this year was like the basement that it could be. Hot take is, I think you can roll. You still got to add some bats, man. You have to add some bats. But you roll this same lineup out next year, and you may not have the record-breaking team, but I think you're going to see a significantly better offense out of this Rangers
Absolutely.
Year. So, again, I just like I said, I know they're struggling, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. But I don't want to make any knee-jerk reactions with this squad after this season. I want to try to get another run with the core of this team next year. Anyway,
it shows you real quick just before we get out of here that baseball on paper just does not mean anything. The Rangers were supposed to have an awful pitching staff coming into the season this year, and their pitching staff was not the problem at all. The bats were supposed to keep this thing alive and keep them till the starting pitching got, So it just goes to kind of show that paper and baseball don't really match as well as statisticians would like you to believe.
Yeah, it's funny because baseball is a stats game, but it's the funniest thing about baseball is it's almost every year there's one or two teams that stats they win, but the stats just don't tell you why they win. It's every year. There's always a couple teams like that. And I think, and then there's always teams that statistically should be winning and are 500. And it's they're just the game. I mean, it is a stats driven game, but it's also one of those games where there's so many dynamics to the game. And when teams can kind of gel the right way, they turn out to be great team. I mean, I would say Arizona last year would be a great example. Probably didn't lead the league in anything.
Yeah, and they're kind of turning into that again this year as the season wears on.
Yep. So anyway, well, we love the game. We love baseball. If we keep talking, we're going to keep talking. So don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTV. Don't forget to check out that website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Thank you for subscribing on your favorite podcasting platform. Thanks for checking us out right here on the Sports Fluent Network on YouTube. All you got to do is search Texas Rangers with the Boys. We will pop up. And also thank you to our farm hands who subscribe to our exclusive content down on the farm with the boys. We cover all things Rangers, minor league. And again, we want to thank you guys for listening. We're rolling into the weekend. Let's hope we have an exciting show to talk about on Monday morning with hopefully the Rangers having a good weekend. But it's going to be a good weekend for us no matter what, because we got the top 10 prospects in the Rangers farm system. We're going to cover it on our exclusive content. If you hadn't subscribed, now is the time. For the 300-pound manimal, this is your boy Kev. We are Texas Rangers with the Boys, and we are signing out.